Hi everyone, welcome to Plum Good Quilting's tutorial on mitered corner bindings. Usually you might have seen a mitered corner binding used on a baby quilt or a napkin or maybe a nice tablecloth. Today we're going to do it for this surprise project that we needed for our trip to Ireland. This is the inspiration for our cord case that we're going to make with mitered corners. We have to somehow tame this crazy mess and be able to keep it all organized in one place to take with us. So the first thing you'll need to do is pick two fat quarters or whatever size you need to make your project, whether it's the napkin or the tablecloth. Pick your fabrics. And sometimes it's the hardest part of the project, especially if you love fabric and you can see it all around us like we can here at Plum Good. Oh, one more thing. Keep in mind that if you're using a batik or a woven fabric, it's really kind of double-sided. It has the same look and feel on both sides of the fabric. So you don't necessarily need to pick two things if you're going to do a napkin or a tablecloth. You can just use the one and do the mitered corner hem on it, and it just works fantastic. Okay, the first thing after you've pressed your 1/4 inch hem around the one piece of fabric, which will be the outer piece, which will be the one that people see more often than not. It'll be time to do your mitered corners. Well, we've made a little template for you. Normally, you might think that it's going to be like a perfectly straight cut across the corner of your fabric. From the look, but it's not. It's more of an equilateral triangle. So we've made a little template for you to show you, because if it's not at the right angle, your 90 degrees on your corner will not be correct. So what our template is it started out as a 1.5 inch square, and I cut it in half. Now, as you can see, where it says hem on the edge of the template, that would be the bias of the fabric because you've cut it like this, okay? So let's go ahead to the next one. Okay, so now what you do, I hope you can tell what I've done by this picture. I folded the large piece of fabric right side to right side, and this is only one of the corners, so I folded it right side to right side with the hems touching, and then placed the template on top. And make sure, if you download our template, make sure you're placing it like this, where your hem, where it says hem, is next to your folded hems that you've made, or your cut will be incorrect to come out with the perfect mitered corner. So once you lay it on there like that, and make sure it's very straight and pressed down, mark your stitch line, then remove the template and stitch on that. You want to repeat that process on all four corners. Now, this part I'm sorry I didn't make a picture for, but go ahead, and once you've stitched, I want you to trim that seam allowance back to a 1/4 inch straight next right here. Just your 1/4 inch on each side, and then you need to press them again. In fact, pressing them open would be good, because if you press it to one side like quilters usually do, it might interfere with the way the thickness of your corners are and the way it interacts with the other fabric, because you have, like in this case, we didn't use a cotton fat quarter, we used more of an upholstery fabric for this, so it's quite thick. Okay, so then after you do that, ta-da, perfect mitered corner there. And you just turn those all in, use a boning tool, press it in, and just press it all with an iron, and it's naturally going to go in this. When you turn it, it's naturally going to do this. So, because this should already be pressed open from when you did your 1/4 inch on the inside. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is we decided to use this fabric on this side of the project. And like I said, see where this is discolored right here? If you had used a batik or a woven fabric, you wouldn't be able to tell. It's gonna look very similar to the front side, so it'd be really pretty if it was a napkin or, like I said, a tablecloth. Looks great on both sides. Well, our original idea here was to quilt our project, but our list is so long that we decided, well, we want it to have a little thickness to it because it's going to be protecting the cords, but we don't have time to quilt it. So we just put some fusible fleece inside of here so it gives it a little cushion. Okay, and like I said earlier, if you didn't square this up, when you squared this one up, go ahead and just square it up a little bit. And in this case, we tried to match our stripes so they would sort of align with this line quite well when we put it inside. So go ahead and cut it so that, see where this comes to right here. You really don't want it to go any farther than that because you don't want it bunching up inside the binding. Okay, the next part of our project, because of making the cord keeper, is I laid out my cords where I wanted them to go on top of the cord keeper. And then I determined how long of a Velcro strip I needed for each cord. And as you can see, these two, this one here and this one here, are quite longer than the others because I had a big power adapter that needed to go there. So the next thing, after I laid out the cords, I marked the center of each placement with a pencil so I would know where to sew the Velcro to the cotton. Then we had a crazy little occurrence because here I am thinking I'm going to be all ingenious and save us some time with this. Before I have used the adhesive Velcro many times where it has the adhesive like on the back side of the tape, and then you just normally, I would say I'm making an iPad cover or something like that, you just stick it to the fabric and then maybe sew a square around it so you have your little patch for your keeper, and it works fine. Well, this time I thought, well, hey, let's go ahead and be ingenious here and stick the adhesive ones, both of them together, and then cut them in half. So, because we started with the 1 inch thick, so now they're like a little less than a ½ inch in width. And I thought, well, that'd be great because then you have plenty of hook and loop tape on both sides. No matter which cable you put in there, you're going to be able to make it fit. So the only problem is this way, when I went to sew them on to the cotton, the adhesive was way too much. It's like Gorilla Glue in there, and it just would not allow any of my machines to pick up the bobbin thread because my needle was so gummed up with adhesive. So after I cleaned up that catastrophe, we went back to our original idea, which was use the hook and loop tape, put them back to back, but of course this time not the adhesed kind. Do the same process, but zigzag stitch down the center of them so that you could sew them together. Then cut them up the center of the Velcro strip and sew them onto the cotton. So once I got all of those sewn in place, I placed my cotton fabric inside the binding. I laid it flat here again, placed it where I want it, and I put a little bit of glue because we're gluers here. We don't like pens, so we use Elmer's washable school glue, which is a starch product and will not stain or damage your fabric in any way. So we would put it right, just a tad, right under here, under the binding, press it down, and we're all ready to go. So then, once I was done with that, I just sewed on the edge around here, and ta-da, all done. Now, if you're not making a cord keeper, it's a really quick project. You can make tons of these, and of course, normally the thread will match perfectly so that you can't even see where you stitched, which is so great. Okay, after I got these all in place, I went ahead and the original idea was to use Velcro or ribbon strip here to keep it together, but I just had too much stuff in there, so I needed more additional placements on the outside of the bag to keep it closed properly. So I decided to use some twill tape that I had in the scrap bag. I just rolled it up, marked it with a pencil in here and here and here and here, and then I sewed my twill tape, zigzagged it back on with a square, and then after I was able to tie it up, and I had already taken the picture of this, I realized, you know what, it looks messy with the raveling on the twill tape on the ends here, so I add a little fray check on each of these, and that works fantastic. So anyway, that's how you do mitered corner binding, and that's how you make a cord case if you need something quick. So thanks for watching our tutorial, and like I said, you can go and find this on our blog, and you can get the written form of it, and you can also download the corner template if you need that. But once again, that template is only a 1.5-inch square cut in half. So you have the perfect corner, and if you use the template on each corner, it works perfect every time. Well, thanks for watching our tutorial, and come back and see more. Thank you very much.